What up? What up? What up? Welcome back to the scorecard. The boxing. Bring your scorecard and an explanation, not just simply your opinion. Last good match at the 154-pound division. A couple of good matches, actually. We'll speak on those afterwards. The main event of the evening was Sebastian Fundora versus Mr. Ocampo. Now, to give their proper, I'm starting first with the challenger, and his full name is Carlos Enriquez, and his nickname is Kema. I have no idea. Hema. He's Mexican, so I'm assuming. That's something in Mexican. Maybe someone in the chat can pull that up for me. What does, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that properly. Chema. Anyways, that is, he goes by very good boxer, 34 wins, 22 knockouts with only 2 losses. Mr. Ocampo fought Earl Spence back in 2018, but it was competitive up until it got stopped. He also fought Canadian Michael Zuski ago and beat him in Montreal too, so that was a good win for him. Fundora, Sebastian Alexander Fundora, his nickname is the Tower, and he is at 154 pounds, 6'5", 6'5.5", 154 pounds. On there, and you'll see the height difference in a minute once the slides get going. Southpaw. Now, the tough thing about the towering Inferno, he kind of defies the rules. Hopefully, we can get those slides going in a second here. He kind of defies the of how a tall person is supposed to fight, because he's 6 foot, basically 6'6", but he's actually fighting more on the inside. As you can see the difference here. Up, not usually, even if you fight a taller person, your eyes just have to look up. When you physically have to look at your opponent, that's a different kind of height to deal with. Fundora has 20 wins with 13 knockouts. He won with 1 draw. He's had some good tests earlier on. Big win, probably his biggest win was his previous fight against Erickson Lubin. Was one of the top prospects coming up. He still is a good prospect coming up. He has two tough losses. He's still on the way up. He also beat, who else did he beat? I'm looking at his box. Well, not too many big names on his record, but he definitely does pass. Sometimes if a guy, it doesn't have the record to show that he's very good, so to go by the eye test and just look at them. And so get into the match now. The final score. Let me get the final score up here. Was one judge had it 117-111. The other judge had it 118. The other judge had it 119-109. My scorecard was 11 for Mr. Fundora, and I will go through and I'm using my phone, so hopefully I can spin. So round 1, the first 3 rounds were kind of interesting because I just talked about how Fundora, even the obvious height and reach difference, he doesn't like to use that height and reach. It kind of messes with you if you think about it. Like if you're a shorter opponent, as you're a shorter opponent, to get on the inside of the taller of the, but when you're fighting someone like Fundora, that works opposite for you because his inside. But at the same time, it does give the shorter boxer, more of an opportunity, but you're going to take some punishment doing that. Anyways, let's get through the first round. First round, gave it to Fundora. He was actually using his distance. He was actually keeping his distance in the first 2-3 rounds. So the first round I wrote, he's actually using his range, which is rare for him. Round 2, that's the other thing. There was a lot of close rounds in this fight. How many? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I marked 9 rounds as close rounds. Now, most of the time, now that my definition of a close round is away. In this case, even though they were a lot of, it was still like leaning more towards Fundora, most of the close rounds to Ocampo. But even though, like I said, my definition of a close round is that it could have, even though these were close rounds, they still were leaning a little bit more towards Fundora. They weren't exactly just went either way. Anyway, it's round 2. I gave to Fundora, marked it as it was landing some shots, but Fundora was doing his thing. Round 3, gave to Fundora. Again, Ocampo, what's his name, right? Was landing some shots, but the distance punching from Fundora, the distance punching from Fundora was more, and they're just from a distance at its full extension. So to the judges, it just of Fundora's punching landing. Round 4, I actually gave that round to Ocampo. The first one I gave to him. His body work. Again, as a coach, you're going to coach your shorter boxer to go to the body. Again, the 4th round, Ocampo started to do that. Round number 5, I gave to close round. I thought it was clear for Fundora. This is where Fundora went back to where he on the inside. After those first 4 rounds, he's like, forget about this. Let me go right on the inside. And so he did that. So I thought he won that round clear. Again, look at this picture right here. Like when he's at his distance, when he lands punches from a distance, it's so obvious and clear to anyone watching the fight. It's specifically that you're trying to make your punches clearly landing too. So he just landed more punches from a distance, but he chooses to fight on the inside. Anyways, number 6, I marked it as a close round. Gave it to Fundora. My notes for round 6 was Ocampo is landing some shots, but he's also taking some big shots. And his corner to win. What kind of question is that for a corner to ask your boxer? You're in the middle of a match, and you're going to ask that's not exactly a confidence booster coming from the corner. Bad, which they weren't. Well, sorry. I just said he was taking some. It wasn't just like one-sided punishment. He was doing this thing too. That's why I marked that as a close. But as a coach, as a corner, you're not supposed to ask your boxer, "Do you want?" He's in there in the first place. You want to give if things aren't going the way you want to as the coach, give specific instructions on how to. 1 or 2 things. You only get 60 seconds in between rounds, so you're not going to give him a big speech, but 1 or 2 adjustments to make to try to turn the fight around. Not just simply ask him, "Do you want to win?" Like, kind of. Anyways, that got me a little bit frustrated. Round 7, I didn't mark any notes. I didn't mark any notes for round 7. I marked it as a close round. I gave that round to Ocampo. Ocampo is fighting back, but he's taking punishment. Same notes that I had for like right here, like Ocampo was going to the body. In this picture, it looks like both boxers missed their punch. thing here. Ocampo going to the body, and Mr. Fundora from a distance. Yeah, man. So even though Ocampo was doing his thing, which is what you don't want to do, especially in a close fight. Round 9, I didn't have any more notes from round 9 to 12, but I could tell you. And they're all from round 9, 10, 11, 12, including number 12, I marked as close rounds. I marked all those as close rounds. Gave to Fundora. Round 10, I gave to and round 11 and 12, I gave to Fun. So I came to my final scorecard of 117 to 111 for Mr. Fun. All right, where's the comments at? No comments today. Where's everybody at? So, where does the Towering Inferno go from here? At 100, in his last outing versus Erickson Lubin, a very impressive win for the Towering Inferno. He looked like after that last trouble getting fights because he is what you would consider but low reward because he doesn't have any belts yet, and he's still on his way up. He's not making like crazy. He's making good money, you know. He's still making good money, but not enough for one of the champions. Not yet. And that reminds me. Sorry. Shout out to my boy Randy, who was also scoring the fights. Also shout out to my boy Mike and OJ, big boxing heads. OJ came up with an idea 10 prospect list, a top 10 prospect list, and then 6 months from the date that we make it, we're gonna go look and see their progress and then name them there. So look for that soon, coming on the Talkin Fight channel. The top 10. All right, back to the fight. So speaking of prospects, I consider Fundora still a highly skilled and force to be. As I was saying before, he's a high risk and low reward because of how good he. This last night, though, someone made an observation that because he did get dropped in the Lubin fight, and even last night, even though he won convincing, Ocampo showed that you can get to him if you really focus on it, right? You can Fundora if you really focus on it, and you got to try to in between getting to him. So with that being said, because actually you got touched up a little bit extra, some of the other contenders at 154 pounds, the confidence that they can, not only touch him but actually hurt him and stop him. Be interesting to see his next move from Mr. Fundora. Again, it at close quarters, you would think that Ocampo would have. You see by the blood on his face here, he was taking some shots. He was doing his thing on the inside, but still hellacious shots. So that's the new word that some of the commentators use. Hellacious punches. Anyways, there was a fight right before in the co-main event. Shout out to my boy Randy. My attention. Adamus versus Montiel. That was also at 154 pounds. Adamus looked very, very good. And Randy, it makes sense. Randy said that might be the next one up, Adamus. And that would be a good step up for both guys. They're both on their way up, both prospects. So, yeah. Adamus versus Fun. Looks like it because Adamus took care of Montiel last night. Once again, another picture here of added these pictures right here just to show the towering in front of his reach. Look, his box is almost out of the screen. When Fundora full range, I believe he has an 80-inch reach. When he uses it, how are you supposed to get to that? Like, you see the other boxer throwing a jab, and it looks like short. I remember that fight. It's really coming up short. A serious problem to deal with, man. Here's another punch too. This is his cross. This is not even his jab. It's straight left. Again, look at the distance he's landing it from. This almost out of the screen, and just his whole arm is in it. Like, both boxers are almost out of the screen. Fundora's 80-inch long reach out there like that. So these from last night's fight, but I just wanted to put those in there just to show, how much of a problem it is to deal with. But once again, he chooses and prefers to fight. He chooses to fight on the inside. Interesting, man. I don't know. He says, after the fight, when they're in the ring talking on the big names, you know what I'm saying? So of course Fundora called out at 154 the undisputed champion Jermell Charlo. Interesting. Jermell Charlo is boxing, like, clearly top 10 in all of boxing, maybe closer to 10. At 154 pounds, and he won them very convincingly of Charlo. He's a very good contender. He's not just a belt holder, he's a very, very, very good champion. I think Fundora one or two tests before he takes on perhaps. Well, I was gonna say Lubin. He already messed up Lubin. But again, I mentioned Adamus. Who else? Why is, man? Give me some suggestions here. Who should Fundora take on next? This is going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. And what's also interesting is he's only 22. Let me double check how old Fundora is. Looking at box record, 24 years old, which means he still has room to grow. Which means he still has room to grow. Shout out to people texting me right now and getting me distracted during the show. So at 24 years old, he still has room. So it's going to be interesting to see if Fundora stays at 154 pounds, or if eventually, 28, 29 years old, when your body starts to get a little bit harder to get off, if he decides to move up to 160 pounds and take on the challengers there. That would be very interesting. They're a little bit taller. No, because even fighters don't really start to get taller. 75. Yeah, till about 168, 175. You get the taller guys like Bivol, the guy that just beat Canelo, Bivol and Zerto Ramirez. So the tall guys, that height, light heavyweight. But again, there's no one even close. Like, I don't even know how you find sparring fighting this guy, Sebastian Fundora. Like, how you're gonna have to find tall guys. Obviously, there's a lot of tall guys out there, but not light. So you're gonna have to fight heavier guys to get used to that distance. But you have to fight heavier guys that weigh a lot more than you. So to know how Ocampo or anybody gets their sparring ready to fight Fundora, that's a chess match. As a coach, you look at boxing as a chess match, and how we're gonna break down the opponent. So that is a very that coaches have to deal with. 6'5", 154 pounds, 80 inches. So, yeah. Mr. Ocampo, go from here. Again, he's only. Let's go to his box record real quick. Machema. Anybody find out what that nickname means? See. Anyways, Mr. Ocampo, 34 wins, 22 knocks. He is 26 years old. So yeah, man, he still has a good career. He wants to stay at 154 or go back down to 147 because I think when he fought Earl Spence a couple of them, but again, I just mentioned that was a couple of years ago, back in like 2008. He's 26 now, so yeah, so he's probably like 22, 20, 23. And like I said, when you get into your late 20s, as a fighter that's used to cutting weight of 20s, that's when the weight gets a little bit harder to come off. And this is the weight where we're going to stay at, so stop trying to make me cut more. So, 6 right now, he's probably going to stay at 154. 54, and, you know, judging by his performance last night, he should have be able to get in the ring in there with some contenders. Not sure about, but he definitely would have to earn his shot. Like if he took on match Lubin versus Ocampo, how about that one? Two guys that are two guys coming off of two losses. Yeah, coming off of a loss, but a challenging loss. An L is an L. A loss is a loss, which I remind my boss a loss. But in the professional game, the L, especially financially. So you want to get a good win to get you back in that win class. So how about Erickson Lubin versus Carlos? I think that would be a very interesting fight. Both guys have a comp in Fundora. Both guys hurt Fundora. Lubin actually dropped. Remember, like, see the thing about that Lubin fight with you can keep those slides going. Yeah, keep the slides going. Keep them turning. In the Erickson Lubin fight, is this the Lubin fight right here? No, this is not the Lubin fight. Lubin took a lot of punishment, but he landed some good shots against Fundora. I forget what round it was. It might have been 6 or 7. It was in the middle. One of the middle. Erickson Lubin dropped Fundora, and Fundora was visibly hurt too. It wasn't just like when he got up right away, but he was visibly hurt. So he showed that he has a good. Lubin is a hard puncher. Fundora showed that he has a good chin by getting dropped, showing that he was visibly hurt, but still fighting back and winning. I think the corner doing the towel. I'm gonna call it right now, Lubin versus Ocampo, and then I know again after the match, every fighter when they get to the mic start talking, especially after you win, and so of course he was calling out Charlo. Hey, I'm not sure if his promoters or coaches, which is his dad, that fight immediately. Like I said, I would suggest maybe just one tough contender matches. Just he's 20-0 right now, undefeated with 20 wins, 13 knockouts, which is only about a 61% knockout ratio for Fundora. A high knockout percentage, but if you don't have a lot of knock, gives your opponents a little bit more confidence that they can come after you more because there's not much danger that they have. But Be careful. Again, be careful thinking that you're going to walk in ring Inferno's inside and think that's going to be your comfortable place because he loves being on the inside. This guy's going to be problems. This guy's going to be problems for anybody, really. Anybody, because as I said at the beginning, he defies the rules of how you're supposed to fight. Just completely defies them. Good? We're still good? Yes. Fundora is good at his distance. Very good at his distance by some of those picks that I put up, but he prefers to fight on the inside. And I believe that is it. There was one more match, the one right before the co-main event, Martinez and Ancajas, Argentina versus the Philippines. That was a rematch between them two little guys. And I'm mad at myself because I only turned it on and at the beginning of the fourth round, so I didn't score that one, but I wish I did. Whatever you just did fixed your mic. Oh, thank you, Mr. Barrington. Eddie Barrington, what up? Good morning. What else? You got any comments or anything about the fights last night, Eddie? Thank you for letting me know that my mic is good. I don't know what I did. Someone called me and I just declined the call, and I guess that fixed my mic. Yo, we're on point. You were on point. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Real quick, what do you see next for Fundora? Who do you want to see him fight next? I know he's calling out Charlo, but like I said, at 20-0, at TS, he only has 20 fights with only 13 knockouts. I would suggest, one or two more tough matches to, just to test himself and really try to get a stoppage. Because he beat the crap out of Lubin last time. It was a tough war for him too. So if he can do the same thing that he did to Lubin without himself taking some shots, then I would say, yeah, he's ready. He's ready for Charlo now, or at least to test himself against Charlo. He says he's been ready for Charlo. Yeah, I know. But like I said, after a fight, after a win, when you're talking on the microphone, everyone has that extra air of confidence, right? Everyone has that extra air of confidence when you're talking on the mic right after you win. So everyone calls out the champions, again after you win because you're just so high off your confidence. So you know what? Since he's been calling him out, all right, give it to him, man. Give it to him, and we'll see if he's actually ready for that test. Just off the top of my head, I'm assuming there's going to be a rematch clause when they have that fight. Well, most of the champions have a rematch clause in their matches, specifically with Charlo, because Charlo, he actually does better in his rematches. When he fought Tony Harrison, I thought Tony Harrison won the first match, and I actually thought Tony Harrison was winning the second match too, until Charlo caught him late, and that's what Charlo does, man. He's more of obviously a boxer, but he's more of you call it like a for a lack of a better term, a violent, aggressive street fighter with boxing skills, and he's a great finisher because once he touches you, like if Charlo hurts you, it's very hard to get to weather that storm. Some guys can hurt you, and you can still kind of move your head, move around a little bit, tie him up a little bit to try to at least make it to the end of the round and recover during that 1 minute break. But when Charlo, when he hurts you, he's one of the best finishers in all of boxing. Because once he hurts you, like there's maybe someone can correct me. Anytime he hurts someone, like he finishes them off. The only problem is getting to the hurting part. As I said, and even in the rematch with Tony Harrison, I had Tony Harrison winning up until that moment. Charlo was winning a couple of rounds in there too, but I thought Harrison was doing his thing. So, with that being said, now that I just thinking of it off the top of my head right now, it would be very interesting for the 6'5.5", 154-pound Fundora to take on the undisputed champion Jermell Charlo at 154 pounds. That would be very interesting. Because Charlo hits hard, man. So the punches that Ocampo was landing last night, and I also mentioned how Lubin dropped Fundora in their fight and landed some good shots too. So Fundora, man, as good as he passes the eye test for his offense, his defense is a little bit suspect. Just a little bit suspect. Not bad to where it's like concerning, but it is a little bit suspect. So, just thinking about Fundora versus Charlo. I'm gonna go with Charlo late stoppage. I would go with Charlo like 8th or 9th round stoppage. And up until that time, it would be almost a draw as far as the scorecards. That's what I think. It would probably be a draw, or Fundora would be up by 1 or 2 rounds, and then Charlo would catch him with something, a left hook, catch him with a left hook in the 8th or 9th round, and then finish him off then. That is my official prediction for a fight that hasn't even been scheduled yet. But it will. If Fundora continues on his path the way he's looking right now, and Charlo stays undefeated, not undefeated because he lost, but he reclaimed his belts and is clearly undisputed. Hopefully that fight happens, and hopefully I'm right in my predictions. Yeah. All right, man, there you have it. Oh, I forgot to say it at the beginning. Of course, I'm here every Sunday, most Sundays, if there's a good fight on, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. If you can't catch the show live, you can catch the replay on any podcast, wherever you listen to your podcasts. It's a lot available there. Of course, we're the #1 boxing channel on YouTube. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, share, subscribe. We got new content every day. Talkin Fight channel has different shows, not just the same people. That's the difference between the Talkin Fight channel, YouTube channel. Most YouTube boxing channels have, the same people, same 2 hosts, same 3 or 4 hosts talking all the time, just giving their regular opinion. But what makes the Talkin Fight channel different is that we have, like, I don't know how many shows. There's double-digit amount of shows with different people, different personalities, different perspectives. So you're getting it from all angles. You can get a history, some history lessons, or from the history up until current times, only on Talkin Fight channel. Of course, you can find me on any social media at Cedric Sports. My YouTube channel is Cedric Sports Training. And yeah, hit me up with any constructive criticism, any questions you have. Past couple of weeks, a few people have been asking me to do a live fight chat. I might do that in the next couple of weeks. We'll see. The next semi big fight, because the big fights I go to my boy's house to watch them, and there's too much noise, too much people talking, so we can't do a live fight chat because it'd be too noisy. But we'll see. One of the lower level ones where we can really focus and concentrate on it. Maybe I'll do that for the live fight chat. All right. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit me up at Cedric Sports on any social media. All right. Peace.